Hatsy and I'm back with a brand new build video, and this time I am excited to share with you my first build that I've made with the new vampire pack that came out. So this is going to be a Victorian house and it's going to be a bright white home. I had a very clear image of what I wanted, so I didn't actually spend that long building it. It probably took me about an hour to do the exterior, which is quite unusual for me because it is a mansion, even though it is on quite a small plot for a mansion, because usually I like to build builds that are a lot bigger than this, but it went really nicely. Also, there is an interior, and the interior is going to be quite long because it is the most detailed interior that I've ever done for a build. So if you want to see that, then just wait on the channel because it will be out, I guess, like a couple of days, maybe a week after this part. I'm trying to get all my interiors sorted. I've got so many to do, honestly. I'm just letting them build up. But no, I really enjoyed doing the interior. It was incredibly exciting. Anyway though, on to the important stuff. So what inspired me to do this build was actually when I was younger, okay? For those of you that don't know, I used to live in a haunted house, okay? I've spoken about it in my other build videos. I'm not going to go too much into detail because I actually want to wait until the right time to tell you about what actually happened. But there was a house sort of near the house that I lived in. Now this house was so mesmerizing. It was a bright white house on top of the hill. And every single time I went past it, obviously I wasn't driving at that point because I was 7, but my mum used to drive past it with me and it was just insane. Like, this house was so pretty, and do you know, it was so pretty that I used to dream about it. I actually used to just like randomly think about it. It just used to pop into my head and I used to think, oh yeah, that house, it's really nice. So when I was thinking about what to build, I thought I would do a build inspired by that house. And the reason is because as a child, and you know, even now, this is the thing, if I ever got lost in that area, maybe my car broke down, maybe my phone ran out of battery, something happened to me, I would try and find that house because I know that house is like a landmark and there's nothing really around it. I would think, oh yeah, someone lives there. So that's what I was thinking for The Sims. Wouldn't that make sense to build the ideal vampire house just like that white house that I used to see when I was really young? Because surely, as a vampire, right, bear with me, wouldn't it be amazing though if you had a house and then people would knock here all the time because people would think that this house was trustable. People would think, oh yeah, I remember that house, it's really nice, so the people that must live there must be really nice too. So that is my thought process. Every single time the welcoming wagon or whoever knocks on your door and you don't want them there, then it's their fault and they will pay the price. Anyway though, this house is actually going to be used in a Let's Play of mine, and I'm going to be explaining how it's going to be used. So basically, I've been doing Let's Play Witches for a really long time. It's been about maybe 7 months I've done the series for, and I've been falling behind with it just because I was focusing on another series. But I do want to make sure that I'm keeping up to date with it, because it's really important to me. I love it and it's a story, you know, I've got to finish it. So anyway, Let's Play Witches. I thought I would mix it up a bit and I would incorporate the series into this world. So if you haven't watched it yet, it's basically a machinima series. I've explained it so many times, but it's a Let's Play mixed with machinimas and also a story behind it. So I think it's a different way of doing it and I really enjoy doing it that way. But if you haven't kept up to date with it, then I'm just going to spoil the whole thing right now. So unless you want to hear all the spoilers, then close your ears or go and watch the series. So in part 15, Damien died on his own wedding day. And he was poisoned by Drakon. And Drakon poisoned him because Marielle told him to, because she is very manipulative and she knew that Drakon would only poison Damien if she did something for him, and she did. She released him from the spell, so he's no longer going to be an ice sculpture stuck in his own brother's basement. And from there, the day of Damien's funeral, they come back to find that all the witch houses are on fire. So the ones that are completely burnt down are Agatha's and Eve's. So they're the ones that like don't have any possessions left, sort of thing. So it's going to be very difficult for them to rebuild their house. But the witches are so worried about this curse happening because of the ancient prophecy. The Supreme Witch and the Archwizard have to get married or there's an ancient curse put on the town. So they all decide to pack up and leave because that is pretty much their only option. Now, it's not really clear if this is going to help them. In fact, it could just make things worse, or things could just stay exactly the same. The curse could just keep happening, etc. The curse could get worse, but they don't know. They don't know this stuff. So they decide to leave the town, move to a quiet forest. The only house that's there when they move to this area is this one, and they don't even know who it belongs to. They think that it's just an abandoned house, which it very well may be. But apart from that, Marielle is a little bit upset because now that all the houses have burnt down and she's thinking about herself, she didn't even consider the fact that Adam is going to still be in his house, in his basement. She's going to have to find a way to bring him with her because, of course, she's moving with the witches. So she decides to secretly move him into this white house. Now, all I will say about this world is the fact that the witches have no idea that this is actually supposed to be vampire territory. So something that I haven't explained about the series yet is about vampire territory, because it's never been a thing before. I mean, I've just incorporated it right now. So vampire territory, if you are a vampire or if you have vampire blood, etc., etc., then your powers will instantly enhance as soon as you are on this territory. So it's going to be interesting because we do have a few unexplained things in the series and I'm excited to address them. So because of the new game pack, it made me want to really tell a vampire story. Now I don't have any of my own, which is actually quite surprising because I have a lot of stories, but I honestly can't think of any that link back to vampires. So I decided to go online and I decided to find one of my favourite stories I've ever read because it's absolutely insane. And it's about, okay, this random man in, I think it was, it may have been England or Serbia. Okay, really strange, but all the stories that I found were either from England or Serbia. There was no in between. No, it was either from those two countries or there weren't any, sort of thing. So on a separate note, if you do have any good websites for that sort of thing, that is definitely what I love to do in my free time. Just look at crazy vampire stories. Okay, anyway, this story happened in like the 16th century, maybe even been before then, not too sure. So this man had a really rocky relationship with his wife. They did not get on whatsoever and they were arguing, etc. And she was having an affair with somebody else, but he couldn't prove it. And one night he heard her. So for some reason, he climbed onto his own roof. I don't even know how or why he would do that though. Like, why wouldn't he just go and knock on the door or confront her or something? But no, he knocks on the roof. No, he goes onto the roof and he finds his wife there with this other man. So out of absolute shock, he sort of leans back and then falls onto the ground. Like he actually falls off the roof, etc. So he's on the ground now and he's dead. He's passed away. So a few weeks after he's gone, like he's had his funeral, etc., there's no more of him. The wife keeps seeing him and he like keeps asking his wife for really random stuff. So she tells the local town, like she tells some of her friends, etc., no one really believes her. And then people start seeing him. Like people start seeing this man all over town. So anyway, after that, it sort of riles up a mob a bit and everyone's really angry and like outraged that someone might have been lying to them about having a funeral or like being dead. So they all start going after this man and they go to the graveyard. So there's like, okay, the picture showed about 50 of them, but I'm guessing the picture was from somewhere else and it was probably just like a gif or something of just what was happening. The whole town mob then goes to the graveyard and then finds the man. Like they want to go and see his body, like for proof that he's not there anymore, sort of thing. They dig up, etc. And when they do, they realise that he is there, but there's loads of items that belong to other people that are also there in the grave. So they're not happy because everybody's been like missing these items for a while and he's just been like hoarding all their stuff. So that's really weird. But that is the story. So yeah, it's not that great, but I thought it was an interesting one. I really can't even remember where it's from. So anyway, after that, I wanted to do a nice little garden for the build. So the garden is supposed to have like a little gate around it. Even though there is a fenced in area for the mansion, I thought I would do a miniature fenced in area so that it gives a bit more privacy, you know, it makes it look like it's really secure, which I loved. It's just supposed to have a climbing frame there. There really isn't much in it, and also I just wanted it to be quite plain because I don't want a build like this to be too decorative and just have like all these plants, etc. I did put a bit of ivy on the outside, but I don't think that I overdid it. I think it looks okay just being that. Now, something that I've been wanting to see for ages in The Sims 4 are gargoyles in the game, and I can't believe that they incorporated these crazy statues in. They look incredible, and I honestly can't wait until I can use them in like a cathedral or a museum, you know, something really decorative, because I don't think that on this build was the right place to use a lot of them. But if you want to see more of that sort of stuff, there will be loads of big builds coming on the channel, and also loads of builds that you've all been asking for coming up, which it's really going to help with. I mean, these items are just going to insanely help the Harry Potter builds that I've got planned, just because some of them are in this gothic style. For instance, Malfoy Manor, which I'm looking at building, that is going to be amazing with the new items from the game pack, in my opinion. And I would probably build it in this world as well. I'm not too sure. Maybe I would use 50 by 50. I'll have a look at it and I'll see what I think when it comes to it. But no, I'm excited for that. So I think one of the last things I want to talk about is the fact that I've started Facebook, and I want to talk about it in depth in one of my other videos because it's quite a crazy story about why and how I started Facebook. Something that is definitely worth me talking about another time. But basically, I'm sharing like miniature builds of my speed builds there, so you can go and see maybe a minute version of this build being built along with others. So yeah, if you're interested in that, then you can. It's just maybe a minute or a minute half long video. If you type in HatsyYT, it will come up, but I'll also put a link in the description for my Facebook page. So anyway, that is the end of the build. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all for part 2 because it's going to be pretty decorative. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.